Welcome back to News Geelong as we look at the world of Geelong sport with our very own Mitch Scoop Cleary. Good evening, Mitch.
Thanks, Rollo. Tonight in sport, we speak to Geelong coach Chris Scott as the Cats prepare to take on West Coast in just over 2 hours' time. Scott looked ahead to the monster battle in the ruck against West Coast Eagles duo Dean Cox and Nick Natanui.
You can assume that Natanui and Cox will get their hands to the ball more often than our ruckman. So in some respects that makes it a little bit more predictable. You're sort of setting up for worst case scenario to an extent. But we don't want to be completely reactive to them. We've got some pretty good ground level players. And while we need to be aware of Kerr and Prittis and Gaff and Shuey and those types, we've got to make sure that we're proactive in there, and even though we might not get first hands to the ball in the ruck contest, we've got to work hard to make sure we get first possession from the stoppage.
Scott said he would back his ruck pair of Oren Stevenson and Josh Walker in after impressing against Hawthorn last Friday night.
Stevenson particularly early was really competitive, and he's shown that he can perform at AFL level. And we're really happy with Walker's enthusiasm and intent and work rate as well. He's complemented our forward line really well, and the big round Subiaco's actually going to suit Josh. So yeah, the likelihood is that we'll take a very similar ruck combination in.
Scott said he wouldn't focus too closely on Geelong's first finals opponent just yet.
It depends who finishes in the other spots, I guess. But while we do plan very specifically, we don't put too much work into where we want to finish and who we want to play. Our planning is based around playing our best footy, backing in that if we're doing that, we can beat anyone, anywhere.
Geelong have been working closely on a small concern as they have the most frees against in the competition.
The really lazy free kicks, sort of falling in someone's back or just going a little bit high in the tackle is the stuff that we need to fix up. And it will be a huge factor in the contested ball numbers. Frees for and against count as contested possessions. So you've got the best in the comp against the worst in the comp. And if that continues, that's going to really put us behind the eight ball. So we've got to make sure that our discipline is at a really high level, and we're conscious of the way some of their players play, and we react accordingly.
With the sacking of Port Adelaide coach Matthew Primus, Scott said he had no update on whether Travis Boak would return to Geelong.
Not that I know of. I noticed this morning that some people have chosen to speculate on that situation. I would be staggered if they know more than we do. And I can categorically tell you, I am no better informed today than I was last week.
Geelong were impressed with the form of Nathan Vardy, who returned in the VFL last week.
Yeah, we were really pleased with him. The plan we put in place was a little bit of a cautious one, and notwithstanding that, it sort of went exactly the way we hoped. We're not 100% sure whether we'll play him this week. We're going to be really, really cautious with him. All the things we've put in place for the end of this season are geared towards him having a full pre-season and getting back and giving himself the best chance to play AFL footy next year. Scott
said defender Josh Hunt was more likely to return next weekend.
Yeah, quite well. We haven't ruled him out. The likelihood at the end of the game was that he would probably miss, but that's not as certain now as it was then. So, if I had to be really specific and give you all the information that I have, I would say it'd be more unlikely than likely, but things can change over the next couple of days, and yeah, it's certainly pleasing for the week after that he's still being considered for this week.
And in a glimmer of hope for Cats fans, Travis Varka returned to the track on Tuesday with a small chance of returning to the playing field before season's end. Thanks, Chris, and good luck tonight. Now we speak to Geelong rookie-listed player and integral VFL player George Burberry as the Cats play Casey Scorpions in a 1v3 clash this weekend.
George Burberry, a rookie-listed player here at Geelong. And I've got to ask you, first of all, George, you've been watching the Olympics at all?
I have. I live with Billy Smeds and George Holland-Smith, and our TV's just been flicking through all the Foxtel channels, so it's been on flat out.
Now, I believe you've got a particular interest in rowing.
Yeah, I did a little bit of rowing before my footy, and I obviously had to give that up to become a professional footballer, but I still have a pretty keen interest on it, yeah.
Right, well, we've got the head of the river here, of course.
Yep.
that you probably take a very keen interest in.
Yeah, no, I went down earlier in the year and watched that. I think the women's head of the rivers here and the males up at the Ngambie, so I went to both of them, and yeah, pretty impressive display.
It was. Now, back to your footy. You've played every game, I understand, in the VFL this season.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. We had a big pre-season and then went into the NAB Cup and played a couple of games in the NAB Cup, and then yeah, just waiting for my opportunity at AFL level, and in the meantime I'm playing VFL. So.
Well, it looks like you'll be playing finals the way things are going, and this weekend is like a bit of a mini final coming up against Casey.
Yeah, well, it is. It's a big clash. We're currently sitting third on percentage, and Casey are obviously number one, and yeah, I think it's a start of what's to come finals time, and yeah, hopefully we can get over the top of them and yeah, be the yardstick come finals time.
Well, you've got to go out to Casey Fields, probably about 125 k's from Geelong. Yeah. It is a bit of a trip out there, isn't it?
It is. We were joking that we might go up a couple of days earlier, and like the ones went to Gold Coast and had a week up there, we could go and have a week in Casey, but no, I reckon we'll catch a bus up as a team, and yeah, we might leave a few hours earlier to adapt and freshen the legs up before the game, and yeah, hopefully we should be right.
Well, they are playing very good footy at the moment, the VFL side, and you must be reasonably confident. Yeah,
we back ourselves in, and we think if we can play the right way and play the team structures, then yeah, we can be up there with the best sides in the competition. So.
Yeah, if I cast my mind back to this time last year, you probably had Brendan Favola playing for Casey.
We did. Old Fev lined up for a half against us, and then kicked 4 in a half, and then decided that was enough. So, yeah, no, but me coming from a bit of a raw footy background, it was definitely an eye-opener to play on someone like Fev, who you used to read about in the newspapers and see on the highlight reels. So, yeah, it was good.
Good, terrific experience. So where have they used you mainly this year?
For the first sort of 6 games, I started in the midfield, and then we were missing a little bit of what we'd call forward pressure. The ball was being rebounded out of our forward half too easily, so myself and Lincoln McCarthy, another small sort of mid-forward, we went up there, and our main role is to just bring pressure and provide our midfielders and defenders a little bit more time to get up the field and help keep the ball in our forward 50. So our job is to tackle and really just close it into our forward 50 and get a repeat stoppage and set up and start again.
Yeah, well, the plan's been working pretty well, and as you say, this is a real test on the weekend at Casey Fields. It'll probably be blowing a gale out there as well. Yeah. So let's hope everything falls into place for you.
Yeah, well, we can only hope, but we'll do our best. So.
Thanks, George. And that's all we have time for in sport tonight. Be sure to catch us next week for all the latest. But for now, it's back to you, Rollo.
Thanks, Mitch, and good luck, Skipper, in the big match against South Barwon and the Colts tomorrow at Outer Cardinia Park. And now for all the weather conditions expected for Geelong and the Surf Coast over the next 6 days. Let's look at the week ahead. Tomorrow, starting off the weekend, Saturday will continue with a shower or two with a top of 15. Starting off another week of August, on Sunday, we'll see a shower or two and a top of 15. Monday will be partly cloudy with a top of 18, while Tuesday will see a shower or two and a top of 16. Wednesday will continue with showers and an expected top of 15, while Thursday will see cloudy and windy conditions and a top of 14. Today we had a shower or two throughout the day with associated windy conditions. We reached a top temperature of 13 degrees. That's another bleak weather outlook for Geelong and the Surf Coast. Stay tuned for the Daryl Pittman and the boys on the local footy show. And again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock for Donna and the girls presenting the Geelong and District Footy League netball program. To be followed at 8:30 by the team of the GDFL footy show featuring Big Dick Philpott and the newest cult figure of local footy. If you can see him standing up, when he is, the small one, Grubby Cations. It's great viewing. And thank you for joining us on News Geelong this evening. To the Margaret Court of Grovedale Tennis, Julie Blaine. Keep up the strong forehand. And remember, take your time and smell the flowers. From all the team at News Geelong, enjoy the rest of the evening. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend and a very good night.